I don't even know what my camera looks like. I haven't looked at it.
A
I
little
don't even know what I
foggy.
look like. Look foggy?
A little
Ooh, I
bit.
do. Yucky. Let's see what can we do? What can we do to fix this?
Nothing.
How about that?
Okay.
I am very sweaty.
So,
Happy Smackdown.
happy Super Smackdown.
And welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. I'm your host, Liz, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, Marcus.
So, you don't know this, but I titled this stream, this podcast, Super Smackdown, Super Disappointment. Would you agree?
No, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so yes and no. How's that? How's that for an answer?
In some ways, and in other ways, no.
Like, okay, so Finn versus Sammy was great. The women's matches sucked.
Besides Becky and Sasha.
Yeah, the non-horsewomen matches sucked. The tag match was
I love the tag match. I thought that was great.
I understood the assignment, so that was good. And then what else do we have? Sasha versus Becky.
Yeah. I think they definitely could have fit all of this, every segment, every new segment that happened today. They could have fit it all in a regular 2-hour SmackDown. If you remove
so many vignettes, yeah.
If you remove the recaps and the vignettes, yeah. Even if you just remove the recaps, you can fit everything in 2 hours. But they had to extend it to compete with Rampage. And we'll see if it's successful. I'm sure it will be. I have very little doubt that SmackDown will beat Rampage.
Yeah.
It'll take a miracle for Rampage to beat it. But I mean, I thought there were 3 great matches today. The tag match, Finn and Sammy, and Sasha and Becky. Everything else about the show was dumb. The contract signing was dumb. The recaps were dumb. The length of the women's matches was dumb. And ultimately, the extra half hour just made it more painful. The last half hour made the first 2 hours feel like it was dragging. You know?
Yeah. I mean, Pat was like, "Oh, there's still an hour left," and I was like, "Pat, I'm glad you're happy. I really am."
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not so pleased.
I forgot fucking Happy Talk happened. Nothing happened in Happy Talk. Nothing.
A great joke happened, but thank you.
Nothing happened. Nothing at all happened in Happy Talk. It was just Madcap Moss made a couple jokes. Shinsuke came out and walked around the ring and left. And then we had our tag match. Nothing happened. You could have gotten rid of that, gotten rid of the vignettes, pushed it back a half hour, or, you know, shocker, you could have extended the women's matches. Concept.
Let the women wrestle?
Yeah.
Oh, we can't do that. Women don't wrestle.
Well, but Becky and Sasha. They wrestled.
They're horsewomen. It's different.
But Bianca wrestles. Women in other promotions wrestle. Ty Conti and Santana Garrett wrestled. The Bunny and Ruby Soho wrestled.
Women can wrestle?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Now, I understand the Naomi, Shayna, and Sonia match being as short as it was, because any match involving Shayna should be extremely short. That is fine. But Carmella and Zelina should not have been anywhere near as short as it was.
That was just so, like, and here's the thing, and I say this every fucking podcast, so it's gonna get old sooner or later. Here's the thing is that, like, fucking headache after this. I felt it coming on during SmackDown too, and I was like, God damn it. Here's the thing, is like, I keep thinking that they're gonna be like, all right, people have called us out enough about this, like, maybe we should just kind of, you know, force feed them something. They don't. Which is like, I don't get it. I don't fucking get, like, people are yelling at you about this and you're just like, I don't know what they're saying. Fuck.
Yep. But I mean, our little our circles could be just the vocal minority, I guess.
Yeah.
Of WWE viewers, specifically.
Seems like the general. Well, no, we do have some people that, like, have come through and have been like, I love this match, and we're like, what?
Oh, there has been the backstage tension about the women's booking, so I don't know what's going on, but what is going on outside of that is we've got some news.
We have a fuck ton of news, actually.
Oh, please don't let it be a fuck ton.
I'm sorry, but I've got a lot of news. It's just how it is. Let me change the sign for once. We'll get through most of it pretty quickly. There's obviously one piece of news that I would like to spend some time on.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with some non-WWE news, and we'll try to move through as swiftly as possible. All right. Masha Slamovich finally signed with Impact. Moriarty finally signed with AEW, which I thought he was already signed. I thought that they said he was, and that's why he left Ring of Honor.
I think it was in the process, but this is official.
That's fair. Also, ECW announced their somewhere here. Their sister promotion called LA Fights. It's going to showcase rising stars and SoCal legends, and it's going to run its debut show on November 28th, which will be free to watch on the GCW YouTube page.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've also got a little thing that Ryan Satin is tweeting about actively.
Wait, Ryan who?
Ryan Satin.
The way your mic kind of like did something, it sounded like you said fatten, and I was like, did you just develop a lisp?
So they're taping Tribute to the Troops right now. And they are taping Big E versus Dolph Ziggler.
You do know that I do my news in order, right? From AEW to WWE.
No, I know. I figured this is like more immediate stuff that's happening like right now.
Go for it.
And they're also taping Bianca Belair versus Liv Morgan. So, I don't know why.
Be an interesting tribute to the troops.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, yeah. Those are just interesting matchups that seem completely far off from what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe Bianca's gonna get the title, and then she's gonna feud with Liv, and Liv is gonna take the title off of her. It's gonna be a whole thing. Gonna foster new talent.
But Bianca's going to Raw.
Who's Liv?
Oh, is she? Anyway.
Okay, so lucky for some happy fans, I'm sure, Chris Jericho is going to be missing some TV time soon because he is going on tour with his wonderful band Fozzy to the UK and other parts of Europe. So he will be gone. I believe it's November to December. I believe.
Like through the entirety of December?
Let's see. Like several pieces of news, and none of them are. Okay. November 29th to December 12th. Which doesn't seem like a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
But means he won't be on TV, so take what you can.
Wonder what that means for this Inner Circle Dan Lambert feud that's going on.
I decided to stop watching, but I get a feeling that they're gonna lose.
Well, Junior Dos Santos was sent through a table, apparently.
Damn. Also, Minoru Suzuki is announced to is going to Impact to cause some chaos. That's cool. Also, Amanda Huber is now working with AEW. She is going to be part of their community outreach team. And this was announced by Cody on his Twitter, and she got like her own like little Amanda Huber's All Elite, which is cute.
Yeah.
Okay. To make sure that I'm like catching everything. Okay, so AEW also had their Full Gear card leaked, but maybe not. But like maybe, but like not really, but kind of.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense.
Yeah.
You know a little more about that than I do, but.
Yeah, so Tony Khan had a picture taken of him, and he's holding a loose leaf paper or notebook that has notes on the card for Full Gear. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna like list off what the matches are because some people don't want spoilers. But he responded to the leak and said and finds it amusing that some people think that might be the final card, which of course, being so far out from Full Gear, it's over a month from now, right? I wrote it down on my calendar. Hold on.
Yes, I think. I think it's November 19th.
November 13th. So less than a month. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, being almost a month out. Of course, the card is subject to change, and they're still working stuff out. They haven't even begun to like really advertise some matches. Of course, Hangman and Kenny will be the headliner, and then the Eliminator tournament final. I don't think they've announced anything else. They don't even have a contender for the women's title, I don't think.
Yeah, Britt hasn't been on TV in a minute, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think since she's fought Ruby Soho, right?
Right. She knows that another problem with certain things, but whatever. Then AEW, Tony Khan suggested that there is a possibility of AEW partnering with Warner Media.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently he wants to try to build a library of he said that they've already started building this library of like it's got 100 episodes of Dynamite, pay-per-views, streaming specials, and the House Always Wins pay-per-view, sort of pay-per-view, which was a house show. So apparently it looks like he's trying to get his own version of what the WWE Network was.
It would be like, this is like my dream for like a service like this for wrestling. Literally have like a catalog of just matches. Like being able to search by wrestler all the matches they've had. It could be a paid service.
That sounds insane.
Yeah. Yeah, just like every match. Every match. Like you like search like Adam Cole and you can find all of his matches listed. You can narrow it down by like tag team, singles, title match, non-title match. Yeah.
Not that it's exactly the same, but one thing I noticed that NJPW does is they upload like like the Impact matches from this past Thursday.
Oh, that's cool.
They upload those to NJPW World. And I think they're free, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not the same, but kind of registered with me.
So at what point do we stop referring to wrestling by like the promotions and start referring to it by like the wrestling universe, the pro wrestling universe?
There's the IWC, the International Wrestling Community.
I thought that was the internet wrestling community.
I've heard international, but it could be internet too.
I know people refer to it angrily, meaning like the fans on Twitter getting angry.
Okay, so let's talk about some WWE news, and then we'll get into the actual big news, sort of. We have some news about the WWE 2K22 DLC plans that were scrapped, and it turns out that they were scrapped because apparently minimum of 4 stars that were released on August 6th were supposed to be featured in 2K22. And that includes Bronson Reed, Leon Ruff, Bobby Fish, and Mercedes Martinez. It seems like those are the people that were involved and have now been erased, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, not shocking at all.
Yeah. Yeah. It does really suck, especially for the developers.
Yeah, because you spend so much time doing something.
Yeah, it's a lot of programming, a lot of work that's been just completely scrapped.
So Ms. and Mrs. was renewed for a 3rd season, and the WWE is no longer going to. They've been doing super shows, their house shows. Apparently, after Christmas, they will no longer be doing that. Raw and SmackDown have completely split off schedules. So,
okay,
I thought that was interesting.
So back to splitting brands, clearly.
Yep.
Okay, I can vibe with that.
All right, so let's talk about. I'll go through the timeline relatively quickly. But AEW and WWE have made this past week just the most entertaining thing in the fucking world. This has been the most fun week.
Yeah.
Like, sort of frustrating, but sort of fun. So Tony Khan, as everyone knows, made a comment that made it so that there was a buy-in before Rampage, so that it could compete with SmackDown being a super show, supersized, whatever. And Tony basically said, like, wants everyone to be able to watch wrestling, and that's kind of why he made Rampage start after SmackDown. And that's why he was kind of pissed that this happened, because it seems like you don't want people to watch wrestling. You just want them to watch your show.
Well, that's like the business end of it.
Right. And then after that, WWE was accused of leaking AEW information to journalists or news websites as it relates to
the Fast Nationals.
Are called Fast Nationals, which are early versions of ratings.
Yeah.
That are usually lower than the final ones, apparently.
Yeah, they're like immediately after the show ends, kind of.
Yeah. So that happened. Then Top Dollar tweeted some shit. That some of y'all favorite wrestlers only wear sneakers on camera to seem cool and hip, but in real life they rock Vans and Asics exclusively. Y'all not ready to have that conversation. Which made fans just fucking lose their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Young Bucks responded by changing their Twitter bio to "spent more on sneakers in September than the entire NXT roster did," which made people lose their shit more.
Oh, people don't realize that they're getting worked by both people.
It's insane to me. And then Top Dollar released a diss track. The incredible turnaround, really. Like, magic. So once again, people got pissed. Tony Khan then sort of like stepped off the gas a little bit, kind of encouraged like the competition, said that he was really enjoying it. Thinks it makes for a better wrestling product, and he's not wrong about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He then went to comment about the last half hour being commercial free and said, "We can take commercials out of it. If you want to take commercials out of it, I can do that too. It doesn't seem very civil, but I have more money than they do, so I can afford to do that longer than they can. But that's how we make money at the end of the day." So I was surprised when they took those out.
Yeah, and I don't think it worked for SmackDown today to not have commercial breaks, especially when you're going from the Becky and Sasha match to the contract signing, and you don't have kind of like a host to cut back to like they do for pay-per-views. We just watched them set up the contract signing area, kick Sasha and Becky out of the ring, and move on.
They were nothing.
Yeah, and even Becky was sitting there like, "What? No, I was like, why are we moving?" Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not perfect not having commercials. I honestly think they could have benefited from doing it for the sake of a better pacing. But maybe like one break after the match.
So then after that, Roman Reigns decided to comment on things. Said, kind of relating to CM Punk, he said, don't think anybody really believes someone 200 pounds soaking wet with no explosive bone in their body could ever really do anything to me. And then said, so I mean, when it comes down to it, I'll throw him and pretty much the rest of that roster out the club, no problem. They're just little brothers, you know. And he basically said that he doesn't see AEW as any competition. Don Callis then accused Roman of drinking the Kool-Aid, and then the Young Bucks fucking took more shots at the WWE by saying the way that they're going to work around, like, however they're going to figure out working around the whole Adam Cole is dead situation. Nick Jackson said, I'm still trying to figure that out, but even crazier than resurrecting the dead is letting a superstar walk away from your company to join the competition.
But they're not competition.
It's just so silly, but it's been so fun.
Yeah, it's watching these billionaires just fight each other, and we get to watch the products they make is great, because we get SmackDown episodes like this where we get to see Becky and Sasha go at it, the Usos and Street Profits and Finn and Sammy, and then we get to see Tony Khan book like Danielson and Minoru Suzuki as a response to SmackDown. It's great. This is healthy competition. I'm glad Tony Khan is embracing it. Vince, he's being a cocky son of a bitch.
Yeah, Vince doesn't think that AEW can touch him, which right now I don't think they can.
Yeah,
exactly,
definitely not.
But unless it was on Wednesdays, that is.
Give it a few years. Give it a few years. I think we might see something down the road, but I think it all comes down to WWE focusing on like every demographic, and AEW trying to focus on the hardcore wrestling demographic, hardcore wrestling fan.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling has just...
It's fun.
Especially since we started opening ourselves up to more wrestling promotions. Wrestling has just been the most fun shit in the world lately.
It's like a renaissance. Golden era.
I find myself consuming only wrestling on a regular basis, and I don't really mind at all.
And if you're not watching Impact is basically the lobby for the Forbidden Door.
Wrestling, if you like wrestling, Impact is a wrestling fan's wrestling show.
Yeah,
I think, especially because you get everything that you want. You get good ass women's matches, you get great storylines, and you get mixed matches.
And also so many wrestlers from other promotions come and go. NJPW people, Ring of Honor people, AEW people. It's great. Inspirations coming in now, so I guess WWE people. But anyway, you want to move on to today's episode?
I suppose. Let me just change this sign before I forget to. There were so many tweets that I just had to juggle through to get through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I worked very hard on curating that, and that's why I said we were going to make it as long as I wanted to.
Oh, good. All right, so we started off with a 6-minute recap video.
Real quick. I just want to make a point that every piece of news I get is from Wrestle Talk. So please don't think that I actually know anything. I always feel bad not saying that. Anyways, go on.
You gotta quote your sources.
What are my sources?
All right, so we start off with Edge. He comes out. This is kind of long, but I feel like I need to kind of say everything. I'll try and skip over the unnecessary stuff. He says that things with Seth started between them years ago. You used me as a stepping stone for notoriety. This has become so much more. Beating me wasn't enough. You got greedy. You called my bluff. You got to my home and you pissed all over it. I should have seen it coming. You and I are so much alike that when we see our mistakes, we capitalize on them. At Madison Square Garden, I underestimated you and you beat me. You're the only guy that comes close to matching my intensity. Are you Edge Light? No. You are your own man, Seth freaking Rollins. Because of that, I've got to end this. Our families will continue to be affected by this. I'm going to change the look in your eyes. I'm going to leave you a husk of the man that everyone sees now. A few weeks ago, you said you felt sorry for me. You never felt sympathy for Devil, and that's what we are. I won't hesitate before I put you under my boot. It's fitting that our trilogy ends in Hell in a Cell. So Seth, I know you're watching. Listen close. In Hell in a Cell, I am going to scar your soul, and that is a scar you will never, ever heal from. And meanwhile, Seth was like backstage watching the screen, just like laughing the whole time in his fucking goofy ass suit.
What the fuck was that suit?
And then we get the men's King of the Ring semi-final match: Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. This match was great.
Also, I promised a fortune cookie on the tweet.
Did you?
Did. If you saw it, you would have known.
You think?
Alright, so the fortune cookie says, major value in life is not in what you get, but in what you become. Your lucky numbers today are 32, 25, 8, 46, 33, 55. Enjoy that fortune, folks.
Alright, so let's get into this match.
So Finn chases Sami for a good second or two. An elbow breaks up a hammerlock on Sami, and then there's a sunset flip that Balor rolls through for a nice basement dropkick. It was fucking direct. There was really no one who had the upper hand for most of this match. It was very back and forth.
Yeah.
Zayn goes up to the top rope. There's a knife edge chop to him. He goes to join him. Zayn headbutts him before he can superplex Zayn. Zayn headbutts Finn before he can superplex. Yeah. And then Zayn goes for something off the top rope, and Balor drop kicks him out of the fucking air.
That was so good. That was great. I think
Zayn is always there.
Sami took more drop kicks than anyone in history.
Honestly, that was a lot of drop kicks tonight. So we end up getting Balor going for the 1916, which I always fucking forget I had to look it up today, but because I'm always like, is it the 1912? Is it the 1915? 1918?
I was thinking it's the 1917.
It's the 1960, apparently. But Zayn counters a 1916 with a blue thunder bomb. Get this really fun moment where Zayn goes for a haluva kick, and Balor just like scurries like away out of the corner over the rope, kicks Sami in the face. He goes up top for the coup de grace for the first time. Gets the ropes wobbled from underneath him. Zayn goes to cover with his legs on the rope, gets caught. We get a sling blade and a drop kick and a second attempt at the coup de grace. Sammy avoids it. So Finn frustratedly rolls through a Cazadora into the double stomp. Drop kicks Zayn and then drop kicks him again and then hits him with that final coup de grace.
Which was gnarly.
Oh God! It did. I was like shocked that there was still like skin on Sammy's chest. That like was not nice.
Yeah, that was a very, very good match.
Yeah, I think it was as good as I was expecting, honestly, for Finn and Sammy.
Yeah, this is why a lot of people love King of the Ring, because you get these great matchups that don't need any context, they don't need any story. The story is they want to win and advance. Like, that's it.
And that's what I've been enjoying, not to do this thing again, but it's one of the things I've been enjoying a lot about watching the G1 Climax. Is that it's literally just a bunch of wrestlers against another bunch of wrestlers.
Yeah.
They fight every single other person
and
get points.
When you have a win-loss system too, like AEW has, and you have rankings, it's like every match has its purpose because you're trying to climb the ranks, you're trying to get to the top. Dark and Elevation have purpose. So it's so simple. It's so simple. It's a very small thing that makes a huge difference. And King of the Ring and Queen's Crown, they matter. So you don't need to match up people in Queen's Crown based on story. You could just fit whoever the fuck you want in there, and that's your story. Because at the end of the day, it's a competition. It's a wrestling promotion where people are there to wrestle and get the crown. That's their goal.
Which is also not what they're doing for the women's tournament, so. Because every single matchup has something to do with the storyline.
Yep.
No matter what. It's fucking stupid.
Yep.
I mean, it also doesn't matter because we aren't getting real matches. But the King's Crown, the King of the Ring. The King of the Ring has been so much fun.
Yeah.
Also, it's been fun because I genuinely don't know who's going to win.
Well, you know, it's not Sammy.
Possibilities for everybody.
You knew from the beginning it wouldn't be Sammy.
It's so sad that we knew that from the beginning, honestly.
Yeah. All right, so then we're supposed to have Naomi versus Tony Deville, but Naomi gets in the ring with some new wrestling gear. It's different. And then Sonia comes out and she cuts the music. She says, "Naomi, I've warned you about walking out of my office before I was done speaking. You are having a match tonight, but it's going to be Naomi versus me and Shayna Baszler." And then Shayna Baszler comes out and we have a handicap match. Naomi versus Sonia and Shayna.
Sort of. So this match lasted 2 minutes. Which, to be fair, kind of worked for the storyline, but also the story is like so weird and I hate every second of it. It makes me so uncomfortable.
If the storyline is Sonia's abusing her power and it results in her being demoted from that position, I think that would be great. But if it results in like Sonia being like, "Okay, Naomi, you are capable, you're worthy now," that's dumb. That's dumb. Fire.
Yeah,
demote her.
Make sure I keep all these crumbs on the desk. God. Just I don't know. Maybe I'm being a snowflake. It just makes me uncomfortable. It's not like there's any good wrestling coming from it, which makes it just feel even more unnecessary.
Well, the good wrestling was supposed to be Sonia versus Naomi. Like, that would have been a good climax. But I think if the route is abuse of power, this was a necessary step that needed to happen. Sonia avoiding wrestling by changing the card and literally yelling at the ref, "This is what's happening now." And then maybe at the very end, we do get Sonia versus Naomi.
Yeah. So Sonia slaps Naomi. There's like it's a kerfuffle. Fluffle.
A kerfuffle?
Is it kerfuffle?
Yeah.
It was a kerfuffle. Such a fun. But it's just like it's this mess because like there's a kick to the head of Shayna. Naomi chases Sonia around the ring, and then they catch up to Naomi, beat her up for a little bit, and then Naomi kind of gets the upper hand a little bit. She kicks Shayna in the face. She attacks her, and she goes up top. She gets pulled down by Sonia right into the Kirifuda, choked out. Which I get it. Yes. I get why this match went the way it did.
Yeah, I mean, the storyline is going. Like, there is a story. It's staying on the path. It's taking the necessary steps, and as long as we have a conclusion that makes it all worth it, it'll be fine. But that's the key, the conclusion. Also, Ryan Satin said that another match that's being taped is Roman Reigns having an open challenge, not for the title though. And Shinsuke Nakamura comes out and accepts. So Shinsuke versus Roman is the third match.
I also just don't understand why. I had a thought.
Yeah.
I had a thought, and then 5 seconds after having that thought, I forgot the thought, but I kept talking. Thing about open challenges, Roman Reigns. Oh, got it. I don't understand why they didn't just use like one of their NXT call-ups to beat up Naomi.
Yeah, they could have had Mia.
I don't know why they made it Shayna.
I would understand it being Shayna because it seems like they're building up Shayna to be the queen. The queen. And potentially Charlotte's next challenger after Bianca on Monday. It seems like they're really building her up to be a big deal.
I think yes, I get that. I still don't really understand why she was involved in this. This just feels like I get what you're saying. I do. Mm-hmm. I just don't feel like it made a ton of sense that she was the one who was called on.
Yeah.
And we could have just used that for like another unknown talent coming out and kind of like showing their stripes a little bit. But
like I can get Ivy Nile to come out.
They've got Mia Yim.
Yeah.
They've got Xia Li.
Xia Li, yeah.
Xia Li would have been crazy.
I don't think Xia is as much of a heater as Shayna is though. Mia I could see.
Unless they're setting up for Sonia Shayna tag team.
It makes sense. They have similar styles. Did you talk about the match itself? The finish? You say yeah or no?
I said yeah.
Okay. So then after that, we had a promo from Sasha. She said, "We're only 6 days away from Crown Jewel, and making history is nothing new to me. I didn't come back to take back my title. I came back to right some wrongs. Or I didn't come back just to take back my title. I came back to right some wrongs. Big Time Bex is going to get a big time beatdown. I'm on a whole new zone. I'm here to conquer and destroy all." And now Seth comes out with a long-winded promo. He says, He just comes out immediately, starts laughing, says Edge came out earlier tonight trying to convince you that he has any chance against me at Crown Jewel. I am in no way intimidated or afraid to face Edge inside Hell in a Cell. Hell is already frozen over right over here in California. Edge finally said he was wrong, and that I am no Edge light. I've outmanipulated the master of mind games. I'm going in with a mental advantage and physical advantage after what happened to him at Madison Square Garden. So what does he do? He's got an ace up his sleeve. I am in no way intimidated or afraid to face Edge. He was right about a couple things. We are two devils and a lot alike, but there is one major difference. I have spent more time in that cell than Edge has. I know what that structure does to people. I've been calloused by the cell, scarred by the cell. I am here today because of Hell in a Cell. This fairy tale does end at Crown Jewel, but not the way you'd think. I am the visionary. I am Seth freaking Rollins. Unbelievable of WWE to put their two best promos in the same feud. Like Seth and Edge. Unbelievable. Then we have Carmella and Zelina and Gorilla. Zelina says, glad you took care of Liv. I want to go up against the best. You don't need to wear that mask. Let's just have a clean match. And Carmella says, finally, someone gets it. And then we get Carmella versus Lena in an extremely dumb match.
What a silly world we live in.
Mm-hmm.
With these two matches back to back also, like... What?
You use a match like this as like a buffer in between your long matches. Like that's what you do. You don't put them side by side.
Even more so, you don't make your Queen's Crown tournament match 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
Yeah.
It's bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, the Becky Sasha match was 15 minutes, I think. No, 19 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
No, it was 17 minutes. I remember because it was like almost 4 times, but not quite. Something like that. Something like that. Doesn't matter. Anyway, it was about 3 times as long as both this and the other match combined. It's just what? The thing is that I don't understand what you would have really cut here, because I understand why Becky and Sasha went so long, and it was a great match. So it's like I'm not complaining about that. Street Profits versus Usos was really good. Finn versus Sammy was really good, and Sasha, or Jesus Christ, Sonia. Hang on, I'm gonna make a point. Sonia versus Naomi also had a reason. I don't know what you would have cut out here. Yes, what the hell do you want to say?
You cut out the recaps. The recaps that in total probably lasted like 15 minutes.
You're fucking right.
There was one about Roman and Brock and Paul that was just thrown into the episode, into the first 2 hours, had no context with anything happening around it. I think it was right before the Naomi match. There was no point to have it in there. There's no point to the Seth and Edge stuff because they already reiterated everything that happened in their promos themselves. So
neither of their promos were new either.
Right. I think Seth's was a little new. Or no, Edge's was new because he was like, you are not Edge light. Like that's one of the points to get from it. But yeah, you could have cut out the recaps. First recap lasted like 6 minutes. Add another 3 minutes to each of those women's matches. Or add all 6 minutes to the Queen's Crown one. Like, oh my god. Anyway,
Yeah.
So,
Anyway.
Queen's Crown.
know what's sad too about this?
What?
It's ended a lot better than I thought it was going to end.
Really?
So let me explain. So, all right, Carmella rolls Vega up pretty quickly. Zelina does the same thing. I always do that where it's like I feel like somebody doesn't watch SmackDown, they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So Carmella rolls up Zelina. Zelina does the same thing to Carmella. An arm sub on Zelina and a kick to the face, and that's kind of when Zelina's like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're fucking doing this. She unloads on Carmella. Then Carmella's like, oh no, my face, my beautiful face. She goes out, finds her ladies, put her mask on. She then just stands there as the ref is counting. Because Liv Morgan has taken the mask. Liv Morgan, who is also much taller than I thought she was.
I think she was wearing heels. Like tall heels.
That would have made sense because I saw her and I was like, I don't know about that. Liv is holding the mask. So Carmella's like, can I please have that? And the way I thought this was going to go is Carmella gets counted out because she's begging for her mask. I really thought that was how this was going to end. So when she got back in the ring and was rolled up, I was like, oh, okay. Well, it could have been worse. Definitely would have given us worse.
But did they have to end it in a roll-up? Couldn't they have Zelina getting at least a code red? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Or end in like a glam slam that smashes in Carmella's face for the sake of the storyline.
Bulldog, one of the things.
Bulldog, super kick. Just a straight up punch to the face. Duke Hudson, uppercut to the jaw. Duke Hudson runs out and punches Carmella himself.
Mixed matches! Finally!
Oh,
just Jesus H. Christ. Why the okay, let me say this right now.
I'm
gonna say this as kindly as I can. Which won't be kind at all. A lot of people give AEW shit for being light on the women's matches, and it's fair. We haven't seen Britt Baker in like a fucking year. So, makes sense. And they kind of use NXT as like this bastion of like diversity, women's matches, and they're right. NXT is such a small part of WWE. WWE does not give a fuck about women in the slightest. We are this close. We are this close to fucking SmackDown Karaoke Part 2. We really are. You can't tell me I'm wrong. You know I'm right. SmackDown Karaoke may have been more appropriate than these fucking 2-minute matches.
I don't know. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think we're closer to like a beauty contest or something. Like with the way the Carmella's most beautiful woman in WWE's going.
Just thought of like a fucking pageant in my head. And I'm like,
I mean, on one brand you have somebody dressing up as a superhero, and on the other brand you have someone wearing Karrion Kross's mask saying they're the most beautiful woman in WWE. Anyway, it sucked. It sucked. And then speaking of sucked, Happy Talk. You could have cut the shit out of this. Get rid of this completely. Happy Talk. Happy Corbin says Miriam said Karrion Kross is the most beautiful in WWE. Yes.
when it comes down to a beauty pageant, you know who's winning.
So Corbin says, please welcome my guest, Madcap Moss. Sucks. Don't have your guest be your co-host. Or don't have your co-host be your guest. It's super lame. So Madcap Moss says a joke. He says, there's this hen. She lays eggs for years. One day, suddenly she stops. Doctors don't know why. She goes to see the therapist, and she has a diagnosis. It's an existential crisis. I'm so glad you found that funny. That could have just been a tweet. That could have been a WWE Network exclusive or YouTube exclusive or something.
I wished I didn't find this funny. But I can't help myself. I think it's hilarious.
Miriam said, "Can't believe they hired Liz to write for Madcap Moss. Congratulations." Yeah. There you go. You got the
Finally
job.
Got that writer's job.
So
Anyways.
then Corbin says, speaking of chickens, Kevin Owens, he couldn't take the heat from last time. And Madcap Moss says, what do you call it when Kevin Owens is writhing in pain on the ground? Just another Friday night. Budunt. And then he starts another joke, says, Ricochet and Drew McIntyre walk into a bar. And then Shinsuke and Rick Boogs come out. They rock around the ring and then leave. And then the Street Profits come out for their title match. What was the point of this segment? What was the point? It's like...
Well, the women weren't using that time, so someone had to.
It's like at SummerSlam when they had to kill time and Shinsuke and Boogs just came out and played.
That was weird.
What is the point? What is the point? Anyway, this is killing me. So Street Profits versus the Usos, street fight for the titles.
Alright, so we start off, it's a brawl. Just what it is. Ultimately, they kind of pair off a little bit. There's a spinning neck breaker from Dawkins to Jay. Montez gets a right to Jimmy. He gets planted in the ground with a neck breaker by Jay, though. Then the Usos just fucking beat up the Street Profits for an extended period of time. The table makes its first appearance by way of the Street Profits, though. The Usos, however, like fly out onto them. It's a very like clumsy stunt. And then the kendo makes its first appearance. I feel like whenever I write these notes, because I do this every time I write my notes for like kendo sticks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the Christmas card episode of Seinfeld?
No.
Oh no, it's not that one. Well, there's a part of the episode where they're talking about like, what do you consider, like, what do you consider having sex with a woman would be? And Jerry says, well, when the nipple makes its first appearance.
Oh, yeah. I
That's how I feel every time I write these notes. Anyways.
Like, what do you consider a street fight?
Well, when the kendo makes its first appearance.
I guess that makes sense. To me, a street fight doesn't happen until a trash can comes out.
That's fair, because that's like, that, I think a street fight is either trash can or fire extinguisher.
I've seen more trash cans than fire extinguishers. Or toolbox.
I feel like those bridge like the average no DQ. You know? Like chairs, tables, kendos, basic shit.
Mm-hmm.
Toolbox, fire extinguisher, trash can. Interesting shit.
Yeah.
So the kendo makes its first appearance. And it goes right into the spine of Dawkins. Street Profits get kind of an upper hand for a little bit, up until there's a pop-up Samoan drop to Montez. Then Jay gets left alone in the fucking ring. He gets beat up. Like, nobody's fucking business. He gets a kendo wrapped around his fucking body by Dawkins, which I watched happen, and I was like, damn, that's fucking wild. He gets chair shots. They nearly get their team blockbuster, but Jimmy saves Jay. They super kick Montez, they super kick Dawkins. They go up for the team frog splash, but Montez stops Jay. He sends him into the announce desk, kicks him upside the head, kicks Jimmy upside the head. We get an anointment, we get a direction switch from the heavens, but Montez is pulled off the body of Jay the moment we think he's going to win the title. Eventually, there's a double frog splash onto Dawkins for the Usos to win. I don't want to say this, and I could be totally wrong, and you can tell me if I'm totally wrong.
Okay.
Dawkins keeps losing matches.
I don't think it will matter.
Okay.
I don't think it'll make a difference.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. It's tough to say. So then we had an interview with Becky Lynch. She says, "I'll tell you about greatness. It's being undefeated for 3 years. It's going off and having a baby like the god I am and coming back and winning the title in record time. It will be defending the title. Greatness is big time." And then we get Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, which was good. It was good. Like, it's somewhere in between good and great. I wouldn't say it's like great. I feel like it was just, I don't know, it didn't feel so exceptional.
Okay, so you know why?
Because they were trying to kill time?
No, not even that.
Okay.
Because it's a horsewomen fight. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
You expect it to be what you expect. The baseline is good. It better be good.
The only,
and then there's the potential for it to be fantastic.
The only one that will really wow me between the horsewomen will be Becky versus Bayley, because that's never happened before.
Really?
Yeah. That is the one horsewoman feud that has not happened yet.
Apparently Bayley's doing well, so
that's good.
My fingers are fucking crossed. I miss her so much.
I miss her too.
I didn't realize how much I was going to miss her when she got injured, and now I'm like, mm-hmm. Yeah, so usually recently with my notes, ever since we kind of tried to start doing a more abbreviated format, I like bold certain beats. I didn't get to do that with this. I'm not going to go through the entire match because that's just going to take a lifetime and a half.
Yeah.
This was another match where there was really nobody on top for an extended period of time. We started with a side headlock on Becky, and then Sasha goes to hit the Meteora, but Becky dodges. They ended up rolling each other up a lot. Becky tried to get the disarmer a couple times. Sasha tried to get the bank statement. One thing that was really cool, I thought, was Sasha went to kick Becky. Becky grabbed her leg, sweeped her legs from under her, rolled her up, and then hit her with the bulldog, which was just a series of offense that I haven't seen before. And so my brain was like watching it all connect, and I was like, dang. Sasha responded with the Three Amigos. Basically, eventually Sasha ends up hitting 3 Meteoras to Becky. One's right into the post on the apron. Another is a second time in the ring, and then there's a third off the top buckle. It doesn't really get real until Becky goes ringside. Sasha dodges Becky. Becky goes into Bianca after Bianca's kind of been taunting them this whole time, and Becky just kind of shrugs. She's like, all right, well, whatever. Then we get a disarmer on Sasha. There's a bank statement. Becky gets to the rope in time. And then Bianca attacks Becky while the ref is distracted so that Sasha can win without Becky being like the actual loser. The thing I thought was really stupid was Sasha going for the bank statement ringside. I didn't get that.
I mean, it's still weakening your opponent.
But isn't it exerting more energy on your part?
Maybe her idea was she does the bank statement and to like kill time for the count, and then gets up, runs back in the ring, and while Becky's trying to recover, she gets counted out. I don't know.
Okay. You know what? That does make sense. That's the end of the match.
The finish was a bit. I mean, it was a bit expected. I personally expected more interference, like Bianca would legit DQ the match. I'm glad
I
they
did
didn't go that
too.
route.
It showed that Bianca knew what the fuck she was doing, which I
Mm-hmm.
kind of was worried that like they were gonna straight up just do sort of what they did with the Raw match, where Bianca just kind of like attacked Sasha for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Um, I thought that they were just gonna have Bianca like jump up and jump in, and then DQ. But no, Bianca was fucking smart about it, and I liked that a lot because it made her not look like a fucking idiot, which sometimes WWE makes their championship contenders look like fucking morons.
Yeah. I do wish Becky had sold the hair whip better though. I didn't realize it had hit at first because she didn't really react.
What are you talking about?
That's how Bianca interfered. She whipped her hair at. Commentary said she whipped it at Becky's hand.
Oh, sorry. I thought that she like yanked on Becky's arm against the
No.
ropes. I thought that's what that was.
They said it was a hair whip, but Becky didn't really sell it.
Yeah, Becky looked confused.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way her face looked was almost like, why would you do this to me?
Yeah.
Confused me.
Mm-hmm. Um. But yeah, it was still a good match. It was a really good match. Had some unique stuff. I think towards the end, that's when it got really interesting, until the hair whip happened. But yeah.
I mean, you knew how this was ending.
Yeah.
The moment Bianca came out.
I didn't know that Sasha would get the win though.
Fair.
So then we have the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar contract signing. Let me just tell you, this didn't need to happen. This legit did not need to happen. They wanted this to happen so they could have Brock appear. This was stupid. Nothing fucking happened. And they added an extra half hour for this. Let me tell you exactly what happened. Roman passed the contract to Paul. Paul reviewed the contract. Roman signed the contract. Brock Lesnar signs the project. Roman's the contract. Roman says, "You must be some kind of a dumbass, a big dumb farmer, signing without reading." Brock says, "Roman, I already read the damn contract with my advocate Paul Heyman," and then leaves. Yeah, you're sowing some more seeds. But what did you accomplish with this?
We got several great shots of Roman's face, like looking like he was about to fucking explode. Which honestly, it would have been fine if this took the place of one of Seth's vignettes or one of the Seth Edge vignettes.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been fine with that.
But like, you didn't need this. Though those seeds were already in place. Like, we already questioned which side Paul was on. I don't think they needed this at all. And they added on extra time just for this, and nothing really exciting happened. Imagine being in the crowd for this. Like, you paid because Brock Lesnar was headlining the show, apparently. He was like on WWE's list of things happening. He was the top, even above Becky and Sasha. He was on the top. And get a 10 minutes of them walking out, 5 minutes in the ring. It's already longer than the women's matches that happened that aren't horsewomen.
This was not worth like shooing the women out of the ring. This was not worth that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, that's the other thing. The women put on a fucking banger of a match. The women also put on a match that lasted a solid 20 minutes almost. And yeah, nearly 20 minutes, maybe a little less, maybe 15 to 20, whatever. It doesn't matter. And the way you say, thanks, guys, that was a great match. You did so much for the company. Is by saying, get the fuck out. We have some men that need to come through.
To sign a paper and then leave.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Like, compare this to the John Cena Roman contract signing.
I don't want to talk about the John Cena Roman contract signing.
Can we also just acknowledge the fact that they've been advertising this match for weeks now? Advertising for this match to happen at Crown Jewel, and they're just now signing the contract? Why have you been advertising it then? So that's SmackDown.
Can I just say something really quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, Jon Moxley's fighting Wheeler Yuta.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, Wheeler's gonna
Yuta's
die.
gonna die.
Miriam, to answer your question, we will not be doing a Crown Jewel post show. We will both be working. Well, ideally I'll be working, but Liz will definitely be working.
We will probably be watching.
Yeah, we'll be watching.
But unfortunately, we have to do jobs.
We'll be live tweeting. Yeah. But we will not be doing a post show for it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's hard. It's sort of like what they did with the Super Showdown. Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard because it's just not on the right schedule for us, I guess.
Yeah.
I've watched enough Crown Jewels.
It is what it is.
Nothing's gonna beat DX versus Kane and Undertaker.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I am excited for a lot of the matches that are happening. But yeah.
Mustafa versus Mansoor is gonna be so good, and it's also probably gonna break my heart.
Yeah. The Crown Royal too. That should be interesting. Every Crown Jewel they have like a battle royal.
Oh.
Yeah. I think they're doing that. They haven't advertised it.
I was gonna say they haven't advertised anything.
They normally do it.
I hope if they do it, Shane Thorne wins.
It's not gonna.
And I missed you. I don't care if you look like Jungle Jack or whatever the fuck it was.
You know what we can do? We'll do our 2K20 stream after Impact on Thursday. That way we can talk about Crown Jewel. We can talk about Impact. They'll kind of count as our post show for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'll be our Crown Jewel post show.
Sure.
All right, so yeah, let's talk about the best of the night. Promo of the night, definitely not the contract signing. I'm gonna go with Edge's promo. Yeah. Is either Edge or Seth. I think Edge was better.
Yeah, sure. I thought it was funny that they were chanting Harley Quinn at Seth.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good time.
All right, wrestler of the night. Wrestler of the night. It's down to two for me. I'll let you pick between the two.
Okay.
Finn Balor and Becky Lynch. I'm leaning more towards Becky. Because Becky showed a little bit of character towards the end. Choose wisely.
I don't want to do feminism a disservice here. I'm sorry, I'm going with Finn. It was a standard horsewomen match. It was good, yes. I expected it to be good. And I'm not saying I didn't expect the Finn Sammy match to be good, but that one was hard hitting.
All right, I'll go with you. It'll be Finn. But just know that you made this decision. All right, so let's go to match of the night. So let's start off, as always, going from the worst to the best. The worst match today, with a 2 out of 10, Carmella versus Alina Vega. All around bad match. At least it had some kind of story to it, I guess. Makes it not a 1. Then with a 3 out of 10, Naomi versus Sonia and Shayna. Same deal. It had some story, but the match itself was not good. It was poorly booked. Then up next, gotta scroll up a bit more. Keep scrolling. With a 7 out of 10, Street Profits versus the Usos. I thought this was a lot of fun. It's a great match. But it's a rematch. Didn't accomplish a whole lot story-wise, but it was still a ton of fun. What?
Actually, I rescind what I said. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about match of the night. My brain gets discombobulated sometimes. I will go with Becky. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And for those watching, leave a question in the chat for our question segment. If you're watching on YouTube, leave it in the comments and we'll answer it in the next episode. All right. So then with an 8 out of 10, Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. It was a ton of fun, great match. The length really let them just work. Just let them go at it. Becky showing some character work, some great references in there. It was a lot of fun. But I think it was a bit long. So then we had.
It felt like it was long and like they meant for it to be long rather than it was long because they hate each other.
Right. Yeah. It didn't feel like it was long for a purpose. They should have made it an Iron Man match.
Yeah.
Or Last Man Standing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So then, my pick for match of the night: Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. Ton of fun, great match. Both dudes trying to kill each other. Great pace. It was just a ton of fun. Sami has never looked better. So you agree?
Yes. This was what I intended to say originally.
So
that's why I was arguing that it was a better match.
So, run it back. Promo of the night is Edge. Wrestler of the night is Becky Lynch. Match of the night is Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. All right, you want to answer some questions?
I'll answer a question.
Only one?
Yeah.
Well, lucky for
Give
you,
me more than one.
There's only one answer. So.
Oh, there's only one question.
I said there's only one to answer.
Oh, I thought you said only one answer.
Yeah, it's probably what it came out as. All right, so Miriam asked, what is the first fresh new matchup you'd like to see with a new SmackDown roster? Oh. Trying to remember who's on the SmackDown roster. No, that's the wrong app.
In a perfect world, I would say I want Drew versus Sheamus, but like with an actual storyline. Another part of me really wants Drew versus Roman again, and not for the title, but just because then I get the same old flashbacks of when Drew was a heel, and he was like being very mean to Roman about having cancer.
Mm.
And I get to watch that, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
I want it to be. Well, I've got a couple. One of them is Hit Row versus the Bloodline.
Okay.
And then Sheamus versus Shinsuke. Or Sheamus versus Boogs.
That's fair. I would like to see. I don't know. I think one thing that'd be really cool is Xia Li versus Shayna Baszler. I think that'd be a hard match.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Oh, Miriam said Ridge Holland versus Drew. I'm going to counter that with Ridge Holland versus Sheamus. Because you know for a fact if Ridge fought Drew, they would just have one Claymore kick come in and Drew would squash Ridge. But Sheamus is less protected than Drew. So it would be a longer match.
I feel like Tiny Tim when I say this, but maybe this year, maybe this coming year, maybe Drew won't be protected.
Oh.
Maybe he'll actually be a well-written character.
Oh, you're acting like he's not going to be the guy to take the belt off of Roman. Oh.
And we'll all live happily ever after.
You poor naive soul. I think another cool one would be Ricochet versus Shinsuke. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Alright, who the fuck is Harry Smith?
Harry Smith? That's Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Oh, okay.
Why?
I'm looking at a list of men's SmackDown roster, and I just see Harry Smith, and I was like, okay.
Another cool one would be Naomi versus Xia Li.
What about Cesaro versus Gulak? Where do we stand on that?
It depends how seriously they take Gulak.
Be fucking better.
Is Gulak on SmackDown? Oh,
yes. Which gives me some hope that they're actually going to treat him like a wrestler as opposed to a jester.
I'd say Gulak versus Ricochet. Even though they were both on Raw together, we haven't gotten that match.
I'm just saying, Gulak's very submission based.
Yeah,
and Cesaro can get down and dirty with the submission based shit. With Ricochet, he's much more flighty.
I like to do counter, like two opposite styles. Because imagine Ricochet does like a flip off the ropes, and Gulak catches him in an ankle lock or something.
I think my thing is I just really like grappling. I love two men just grappling. Fucking technical wrestling, man.
Ooh, Jinder versus
Which is why the Minoru
Cesaro.
Suzuki Danielson match was like crack.
Yeah. Jinder versus Cesaro.
Ooh, same body, so that makes sense. No, wait. Jinder, Cesaro, Drew. Same body. Just different iterations of it.
But the real matchup I want is Jinder versus Roman in a Punjabi prison match. Punjabi prison matches fucking suck. Have you seen one?
Do they?
Oh, they're awful. It's like
I've never seen one.
It's 2 layers of walls, and there are 4 doors in the first layer, and you go up to a door, you tell the ref to open it. Once it's opened, you have a small amount of time to go through before it shuts permanently. You can also climb it. But, like, I watched Jinder versus Randy Orton. Jinder goes out one door, and Randy Orton's just left standing in the ring, and, like, has to fucking climb over, uncontested, as Jinder tries to get out himself. It's such a stupid gimmick. But I would love to see Roman just like demolish it.
You know what I'd love to see?
Huh.
God, so I don't remember what type of match it was. But you know that steel cage match in Ready to Rumble with the 3 levels?
Yeah.
I want to see something like that. But maybe for like the Intercontinental title. Like get some of like maybe like you've obviously got Shinsuke.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe get like Mansoor, Ricochet. Maybe Sammy, who I think is on SmackDown.
Yeah. You could do Jinder and Shanky versus Swerve and Top Dollar. With that kind of setup.
Also, Jeff versus Sammy again would be really good.
Yeah.
And then we find out that Sammy was the one that framed Jeff Hardy.
No, won't happen.
Listen, I love Sammy as much as the next guy. I'm just saying. It was him.
Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke would be cool. Anyway, we're going on about this for too long. Yes.
Before we close up the podcast, Mark, why don't you talk about something that Pepita has done recently that made you laugh?
She's done recently that made me laugh? Existed? Why?
I thought it'd be nice to close out with a nice story about Pepita. After this long.
She was laying right next to me. I looked down at her and all I hear is she just ripped the longest fart I've ever heard a cat fart.
The poor thing. Also, another very funny thing that she is doing now is she found out that she can go under our new couch pretty successfully. And she army crawls under there. And today she had to crawl ass first out of the couch. Out of the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's really not that much room. She really has to like flatten herself out for it. Mm-hmm. And I just love her commitment to not being a part of the family sometimes.
All right.
She's such a good girl.
Liz, why don't you close out the show?
She's laying right over here. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to talk to you.
Oh. Liz? Liz?
Oh,
Liz?
big yawn. Hi. If you tuned in tonight, thank you so much. And if you tuned in the future, thank you so much. Happy Halloween. Tell me what you're going to be for Halloween. I want to know. I can tell you if your costume's good.
It's not. It sucks.
Probably.
Bad costume. Commit more. Better luck
Mark's
next
the
time.
heel commentator.
Not a commentator.
And please tune in on Monday for Monday Night Raw. We'll be here. We watch the show, so you don't have to. Yeah. So that'll be a good time, I guess.
Sure. No. Well, they've been getting better. Last one sucked, but yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Follow and subscribe. Our YouTube is The Pinfall Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the live show, twitch.tv/The Pinfall Podcast. Our Twitter is @Pinfall Podcast. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, not tomorrow. I will see you Sunday for our Super Showdown 2K20 Battle of the Brands stream. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be great. We've got a stacked card. Liz kind of knows what she's doing, so it'll be a lot of fun. It's not going to be in a sweaty gymnasium this time. Alright. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you on Sunday. In the meantime, have a fantastic weekend.